assuming he's here and hasn't gone to wash his dishes.
Oh, did he walk away? All right, so we should be showing as live now. Robert, did you walk away? He did. So Sindler was the next one in the room. Do you want to start us off?
Oh, I guess I can do that.
All
I
right.
thought I would go all seasonal on everybody here. And oh, there's Robert. Robert's here. He can go first.
Do you need the share screen, Robert?
That would be great. Thank you.
All right.
Good evening. I'm Robert Fleming, a word artist from Delaware.
I'm getting there.
You are there. I'm
Oh.
going to share my publication today in Cajun Mutt Press, which is a magazine on the fringe, and they also are publishers of books. Oil change. I can't afford 1040 oil. I change with liquefied roadkill. How many varmints make a change? Vavoom, 12 squirrels or 3 raccoons, 1 deer head. Before I confess, I dab a pinky of varmint Valvoline on my forehead, slick my hair back. I confess, I have taken Route 66 roadkill. I have not wasted any part of the road creatures left for me on the road. I drove to the grocery store on coon oil. And I wanted to share one more. You see where it is. Today, I just got the response. I submitted to the Delaware Division of the Arts for the second time to get a Delaware Artists Fellowship grant, and I was rejected. And the judge commented on this particular piece, which is called Divide Time. And around the outer part of the circle are all the time zones. And within the inner part of the circle are all the parts of a watch. And in the center are all the words you can make with the word time. Tim emits emit from T. Tim's ties his tie. Tim I a Tim. It's tea time for Tim. Tim EMT's S. And I just want to read the comment from the judge that I had today. Time in your application for the ways in which it concretely embodies both the image of the watch and time itself. You might be interested in taking a look at an anthology of concrete poetry edited by Emmett Williams and Jan Bervin-Netz, which erases Shakespeare's sonnets. I suspect you'd also be interested in Mary Roth's erasures and earlier concrete work of May Swenson and the French poet Apollier.
That was really good, man. That was an exceptionally nice piece. That
Right.
was just so well thought out. And I really just the way you not only just deconstructed the word time, but the way you actually made it work as a poem there in the center, that was really, really good.
Thank you. And my one response to the judges not giving me the award is that the one thing she missed was that I would also be interested in winning the award. Thank you. Greetings from
Subtle,
Delaware.
very subtle.
Yes, very creative. Thanks. Thank you, Robert. All right. So up next we have Michael Sindler, and then Skyza is on deck.
Okay. Ah, that was really exceptionally good today, I have to say. I'm going to go seasonal, as said previously. This first one is called Darkness Has a Way, Winter Solstice. Darkness has a way of growing on us all. Not that we grow fonder, just that we must all surrender a bit more each day from summer's start when light hangs longest until autumn's end when each short day at last begins to stretch back, shadows falling across the horizon a little later, starting from a few scant hours. We mark the moment with a show of light. Earthen branch of ancient world tree provides flame, burning promise of better future, return of warmth, bright floral blooms whose bulbs now hide beneath cold white sheen. Darkest time holds seed of summer, an anticipation of reincarnation, cornucopia of dreams held in harmony, released into night as a declaration, proof of faith in endless cycle, seasons continuation, field yield crops, size strikes, hope-filled harvest stored to last, to nourish, to sustain through the bleak and beautiful night, to bring us back to just this moment once again. Infant day, mere miniature of full-grown summer, cries a canticle, a tender hymn settling into the soul. And I'm gonna go a little shorter here. This is called Until There Are Eight. It's a haiku. Add one more candle each night until there are 8. Happy Hanukkah. And another haiku. This is 1223. Aluminum pole and airing of grievances. Happy Festivus. And I'll do one more quick haiku here. I think a lot of us know who this is about. This is Bad Claus for the Withdrawn. Santa got sloppy. Bad claws for a good cause. All about the love. Hopefully we'll see him a little later at New Yo. And another Christmassy one real quick. This is called Celebrate. So why does Christmas, longest holiday ever, now start in July? Should 3 traveling wise men be blamed for shopping season? Carols and jingles, a form of sonic torture everywhere I go. Even Nat King Cole gets old, repeated so damn often. Why should joy and peace be a seasonal request? The rest of the year needs the spirit of giving just as much as December. Even though I rant and rail against tradition's hypocritical presentation of scripture, I celebrate your spirit. And I do want to do just one more. I was looking through all my stuff, and I've never actually read this one out before, but it's one I wrote on the thing, and everybody's like, how could we have known? How could we have known? And it's just like, man, I was talking about this so long before. This is Nashville Christmas 2020. No silence, no silent nights, calm morn. Nashville's Christmas joy jolted into fear, anger, and frustration. First by recorded voices warning, sending scattering citizenry away. Then by explosive retort, echoing traitors, Molotov missives, imploring minions to rebel. That bomb in Nashville, that wasn't just an isolated thing. That was prepping for January 6th, and they just ignored it. But okay, on that cheery note, ho ho ho.
Oh, but before you read that, I was going to say thank you for getting us in the holiday spirit, and then you took it back from us.
It's still there. It's still there. I could do one more. Actually,
I really like this sloshy Santa, and I hope that you.
But you go to the Withdrawn.
Yeah, I hope you'll follow up with a writing piece where you'll answer my question whether Santa came down the chimney at the detox facility and whether they have a chimney there to come down.
I could do one that's similar. Y'all want to hear one more? I've already taken up a bunch of time. Let me just do one more haiku instead. This is for all the Calvin and Hobbes lovers. 12/31/95 for BW. Let's go exploring, cried the boy to the tiger, sailing into white. Okay, thank y'all.
Thank you. All righty. Who did I say was next? Skaza.
I've got two. I'm gonna put my two new ones to the test. Let's see what happens. This one's called About That. About That. Life is about growth. Like how growing up Black meant America etched a target on not only my back, but every inch of me. Being queer and female in the South made me feel rope burns on my wrists, feet, and mouth. Struggling with autism meant the truth was louder than I could hear, a decibel too near for easy comprehension. And I pretended to be religious as not to stir the pot, but I was being me so much that I'd forgotten. Not in my backyard is a place I'm often caught in. For my psychology and gynecology are threats to my chemical biology, biological chemistry. They can't identify my sexuality by my dentistry because I've sucked so much American dick I could start a get fucked ministry, and I can't calm down, ma'am. Because life is about needs. Like how you need me to be the cause of your fragility. So calm down, ma'am, is reasonable for you to ask, as my request has interrupted your negligence. It draws more attention and makes others wince. Maybe they'll get involved and possibly film the ordeal. And since my tone was low when I fought for my rights, you'll waste no time gaslighting me on my standards, questioning again if I said certain words or versions of stories, but I'm the person of color, so you don't have to worry. Life is about living for today. Currently, you have the privilege to say, well, if she hadn't made a scene, then none of this would have happened. As if racism was a drive-by and I was at the wrong place at the wrong time. Your bullets were meant for me, so you'll clean your gun casually. My understanding of you begins when you rejoice that your understanding of me ends by making that choice. I accept that it's too much for some to live as people of color, but the same people will take babies from their Black mothers. I am from a number of marginalized communities who are vulnerable with the least bit of immunity, yet expected to carry most of the empathy that the rest of the world won't, and will never see. We were rumored to have protection when there wasn't, and the lies that were fed make me sick to my head and stomach. And life's about giving ourselves and others a break. When someone not of color wrongly chooses, they've made a mistake. When Black people do the same, we are what we make. But many people are still apathetic. They claim to be allies, but numb truths like anesthetics as not to make them feel bad, but secrecy of wrongs leads to the repetition we've had. And America has always been hell-bent on telling its culprits to simply pray and repent. But yes, life is about forgiveness, but I'm not sorry that your complacency is upset. And my right to exist isn't hinged on being the whitest Black woman you've ever met. With compliments like those, who needs condescension? If your values can't get a wrench in, then your morality is stuck too. And it may have worked for you in the past, but everyone else mostly suffered for your ass. So excuse me as I turn the other cheek. Might not be the one you expected of me, but life is also about being full of surprises, and so am I. That's the first of two. The second one is called Rise and Shine. I never was a morning person, but now it's 6 a.m. and I'm awake, and you also need to wake up. Rise and shine. It's time to redefine the school system, but are you too systemic to admit it? Does your wallet feel bigger than the mega schools designed to create mega fools? Bigger than the lousy paycheck teachers get for showing students life skills that their parents didn't? Your conscience seemed to weigh less when you say instructors should do more. But that's not what you're willing to pay for, because talk is cheap, even if that talk meant your kid didn't go off the deep end, or they thought for themselves and refused to be sheep, but you'd rather make the teacher take one shift for sleep, 2 shifts to live, making them unable to give birth to anything except a new type of slavery that we chose to call economy, the financial term for stealing their autonomy. Today, standard childhood education's miss flavor. Not like 2 cups of sugar with half a pack Kool-Aid flavor like creativity, something that makes brains tick, something that keeps them engaged more than the rings that any future 16-year-old baby daddy could offer, because when you're not educating, you're teaching obedience instead. When you're not saying, why is it brown today? You're telling the residents of Flint to drink more water. When you're not explaining the color of human will, you're letting them believe in the blue without question. When you're not promoting self-worth, you're justifying the response, yes, sir, as people wipe innocence on their pants because saying no wasn't an option these school kids were taught to have. And if you're quiet enough in these rooms, you can hear the voices of the thinkers being silenced with every A-E-I-O-U. And I ask, why? The word economy doesn't leave off the E, because it's not just con and you, it's con and me too. It's far more broken than I can depict in 3 minutes. Because the lack of education is a teacher itself, complacent with the way of the world. A world who makes an example out of those who won't conform, but you still let the system smother you with chloroform. Staying with false pretenses you played with before you ate them, but when? When will you start reading and actually feeding your mind? You're dying, don't you see this? You think diabetes is how it's pronounced when blood sugar runs south. Don't buy the lie that textbooks are for geeks when the well of information is a drought. Partake of the truth, because we as a nation can't afford to repeat this grade, nor can we afford to fuck around and find out. In a knowledge-fed world, they discreetly toss the meat, telling you you're mean if you eat the green, so don't forget to shed the bread and be considered a brute to like fruit. Such a spoiled brat not to scrape off that fat, and in a knowledge-fed world, you're now starved and parched, but you look hotter if you hate water. You never were a morning person. It's 6 a.m. and you, hey, hello? That was my end piece, thank you.
That was just fucking incredible. Just amazing.
Powerful as usual. Thank you, guys. There were so many good lines in there. I wasn't gonna type them all.
Thank you. I wrote those early this morning. That's new shit. Like both of those were written this morning, early
Oh,
this
wow.
morning.
Wow. All right. Up next, we got the musical stylings of Ethan Meckler.
Thank you, Shockey.
Thank you. Thank you. Loved it.
Go,
Loved it.
Ethan.
Thank you.
Let's go.
And thank you, Shockey, for keeping this going without Brian here. Appreciate it.
No problem. What are we without community, right?
Yes, but we miss him.
I know. I know he was also not feeling well, so
Yeah.
you know, we'll send him some good vibes and hopefully his internet and everything gets up and running. All right. So up next, I've got Clive. And then I have Avacha on deck. Clive, you got something for us?
Yeah. Right. Those who know me know that you're not going to get anything particularly highbrow or, stylish. But I'm going to be me. So I'm going to do two. The first one is actually an older one, which I'd completely forgotten all about. I don't think I'd ever performed it anywhere. And then there was a news story, and this is genuine, absolutely genuine. There was a news story on BBC News, of all things, the other day, about somebody who scraped the ice off their car to go to work at 8 o'clock in the morning. And the neighbours, who were pensioners, complained because it woke them up, and they don't normally get up till 8:30. And somehow that managed to make the BBC News. I'm not quite sure how, but it did. And it reminded me of well, I'll call it a poem, but it reminded me of something that I wrote a few years ago about that very thing, sort of how self-centered people can be and how inconsiderate. And this is called No Consideration. Dear ambulance, do you have no semblance of consideration? I know my neighbour's asphyxiation caused a bit of consternation, but did you really need the sirens? They shattered the nighttime silence with a loud, insistent violence as I was trying to sleep. Why didn't you just creep up on him and startle him back to life? It may not have been successful, but I wouldn't be so irked, and it wouldn't be so stressful getting up for work if my rest had not been needlessly disturbed by your thoughtless reaction to this emergency. Now I'm out of bed, and he's still brown bread, and that's how things transpired. And I'm grumpy when I'm tired, especially when I have to pretend to like a neighbour just because he's dead. The prick voted Tory over Labour, supported Aston Villa and smelled like a gorilla. Will there be a piss-up when he's buried? Count me in for a couple of bevies. I'll take the day off work. It's the least that I deserve. He was the nicest man you could wish to meet. Blah, 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 blah. I'll feed that belief if I get free beer. Cheers. Yeah, fuck off. I'm out on my feet. So that's that one. And this one's a newer one. I only wrote this last week. I have performed it a couple of times, but I think there's one person at the most here who would have heard it. So, because I did this at a Beehive on Friday. And this is called The Truth About Me. Okay. I'm going to tell you the truth about me. Most of you will think it's a fantasy because you'll never accept what you cannot see. Being open-minded is the key. Closed minds create hostility, and so many I have met will never be free of the willfully blind hypocrisy of those who preach inclusivity, but whose own boundless vanity refuses to show civility or empathy for those who live their lives differently. You see, I'm reluctant to say this because I know you'll take the piss. You'll say I'm mad or deluded or whatever insult each of you chooses, but I am. And this just happened. I didn't plan it. I am a spy from another planet. We are not a peaceful race. We are coming to colonize this place, and I've been sent on a scouting mission to ascertain the best position, the key city to destroy with all the might we can deploy to force you into submission. But I couldn't bring myself to inflict suffering and death on an ignorant people so blind and deaf because I've fallen in love, I guess. I saw that photograph of Mona Lisa, and I thought I was going to have a seizure. She is the world's most beautiful creature. I cannot do anything to defeat her or any place in which she features. I simply have to meet her. So, in fact, I come in peace, yeah? She makes me weak. She makes me wobble. So I told my leader if the earth must have another Chernobyl, Swindon is the place to nobble. I said it was strategically vital, that its leaders were incredibly insightful, that its people were friendly and delightful. The locals, or yokels, may think me spiteful, but my Mona Lisa wouldn't be seen in a place so frightful. So let them flatten it. It's only rightful. And for those who don't know, I live in Swindon. Thank you very much.
I think many of us are very well aware of that fact.
It's a lovely place.
Thank you. We all needed the laugh there, so those are great pieces. Thank you, Clive. We wouldn't have it any other way. All right, and up next, we've got the wonderful Avacha. Avacha, you still with us? She might have stepped away for a moment.
I have that effect on people.
or moved away at any rate.
All right, we can come back. Marissa, did you want to? Yeah.
Yeah.
Boss lady, go and share something for us.
Okay, so you know what I was thinking when I was when I got in the room, I was like, you know what I should start doing is when I'm hanging out with my Word is Right people, have them pick a poem from American Graveyard and like a page number, and I'll read it. But I figured for tonight, if you're down for it, I'll read you the opening poem, which is by A.J. Houston, who is one of my dear friends. The only reason it's the opening poem is because it's A.J. They go in alphabetical order. It's the only way in the whole world that I could think to possibly make it fair for this anthology, because there's just too many incredible people to try to put them in any sort of order other than that. So I edited this poem for him, and I did put it in like an essay format, okay? So that is how this reads. But I really love this poem. It's titled A Bullet Named George. I imagine Derek took a moment, lined up his bullets every night in plantation-like formations, 2 by 2s, single file, maybe row after row, resembling a cotton field, took the time to line up shells on the kitchen table right before the family gathered for dinner, said the Klansman prayer, the same one they used to say before a general arrived in Texas, the same one Southern gentlemen said right after President Hayes agreed unofficially to remove all the soldiers from the South, the ones holding the fate of Reconstruction on the barrels of their muskets, the same sacred chants held in reverence while keeping their hands warm on front lawns of victims as crosses glowed round midnight. There are puddles of blood on certain streets, in certain hoods where drivers and cruisers slowed down in remembrance of good times, craving again the impact of executions without recourse of days long past. I imagine Officer Chauvin, inmate, gave a name to each shell he carried with him, daily names more than likely in chronological order. First one resting ready in the chamber, fighting back the anxiety of giving the honor of being the next in line as men with darker complexions. We would know the bullet is for you, or especially when it echoes your name as it enters your body without invitation. I haven't Googled or gathered the numbers yet. I am almost positive at least 49 states are in a race with we roared to the winner who can stack the most Black bodies by year's end. Chauvin must have known of boxing legend Foreman's affinity for Georges. 5 of his 12 male children are named George. On May 25th, 2020, maybe he wanted to save a bullet. Maybe the first George in the chamber was stuck on the ready set. Too many witnesses forgo. He had previous associations with the man, knew his name was George without asking, held him at knee. I mean, at rear tire's edge. I mean, concrete doesn't move. How many minutes does it take to read Miranda? Can't say since the Supreme Court gave a stamp of approval to racists, it is no longer required. How loud can any Black yell with 140 years of hate, of roasted prejudice? I mean, 140 pounds of protect and assault and abuse is estimated by the coroner more than half of the attacking officer's weight, approximately 91 91.5 pounds was directed to the cap of his knee. When did concrete become an unwilling accomplice? What if I can't breathe, cannot be forced from a constricted larynx, cannot be coerced into existence when air has immediately become unavailable? What if because chokeholds are thought to be against the law, Haight decided a knee had not been added to the log as a weapon? Maybe he wanted to save a bullet. Not all fingers can go immediately after the ready set has been mentioned. Sometimes the watchers will make more noise than a racist is used to. Can't focus on killing a black man with white people looking while cell phones are going live, TikToking a million, streaming on YouTube, black Twittering your conscience into tears. I bet if relatives hadn't had heaven's approval, they would have smited him down in biblical fashion. God done burnt down cities, turned men to women and women to stone, flooded places for less. It is okay to smite a motherfucker if hell sees fit. Even the devil ain't satisfied when the culprit is only sentenced to 22.5 years. Shouldn't right and wrong, shouldn't justice, shouldn't the conscience of America be tired of apologizing, ashamed of police constantly paying billions for actions detrimental to society's mental equity? Shouldn't the charge for murdering an unarmed black man, killing any unarmed person not with the skin and the color of America, find its equivalency in pain? Ain't justice got a brother or a sister somewhere we ain't met yet that can command him to cease and desist? America didn't know, but it released a plague of police years ago, right after black bodies started chasing some from free, called them bounty hunters, claimed it only right in America to recapture melanin, repurpose labor. Cotton ain't never gonna pick itself again. What if this time his only goal was to save a bullet? How much hate, how much prejudice must you caress in the clutches of your bones, have flowing through the cavities of your heart for 9 minutes and 29 seconds to pass without notice? Maybe he just wanted to save a bullet. I do not know if the George sitting anxious in the chamber finally gathered enough courage to say no. What if bullets had a choice, could change directions, could return to sender at the same velocity it left? I bet the plague of police released in our communities would have second thoughts before removing the revolver. I bet bullets would choose us over them. There are messages in the wind exclaiming the greatness of melanin, teaching how it was in black becoming the blackest of blacks that made white somebody of notable consequence. Must tell America unarmed black bodies are not weapons, should have some value after cotton sheets, should never be the resting place for black blood. Concrete cannot willingly convert pounds of aggression into pints of plasma, cannot measure the excretion of melanated life juices without aid or medical assistance. After all we've built, given all the blood, sweat, and bones we sacrificed, shouldn't it finally be enough we survived? Some want to call it black man tragic or black girl magic. Can't you see God was on a mission for grace? We could have converted America to red, black, and green years ago if we wanted to. Had we thought of Invictus, God had given America a reprieve. You would know because as of yet, we are not angered to retaliation. Shouldn't it be enough? We can't breathe, America. Shouldn't it be enough that America be satisfied that we are still here? And that is his contribution piece to American Graveyard.
That's a great way to start the book.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, good job. Wow.
Yeah, it's an incredible, epic writing. So
an important work.
Yeah. And Avacha, I see you're back. I sent you a message.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I went to the kitchen to get some coffee, but I was hearing everybody, so forgive me.
That's okay. I'm sending you a message, but we have an opening I'm sorry, go ahead.
I got it, but that date, my band, I play with a group and we've got a gig on that date. And so we're playing music on that day. And I would love to do something with Ngoma Hill anytime. And I'm so honored that you asked me, but there's no way I can do that date.
And I originally put Saturday the 15th, but it's actually Saturday the 14th.
Oh, it would be with Ngoma?
I can do the 14th.
Yes, so Ngoma Hill is going to feature. He's going to be the first. It's the first double feature of 2023, and I would love for you to be to partner the two of you.
I'd be honored. I would be honored to sit at his feet and do whatever. I love his work.
Yeah, y'all would be such a perfect combination. That's that. Yeah. Oh man, I wish that would work.
I'm pretty good at matching poets.
Oh my God. That was so good.
Okay, so Avacha, I put my email in the chat. If you would send me your press packet, please, your bio, your pic, and any cash handles for tips, any social media handles you want me to advertise, I will get the poster and the event page made this weekend. So.
Okay, yeah, my heart is still full on the poem. Whoever wrote that poem,
That was AJ Houston.
or whoever it is, that was powerful. That really got me. That was, oh my God.
Yeah.
It's the opening poem in American Graveyard. So the pre-orders are on sale now, but it'll be out the beginning of 2023. It's a 200-page book.
Sounds good. I've got a 272-page book out. I'll put it in the chat. Please get a copy. Support your local starving artists.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, I'm still in my heart. What can I say?
Yeah. So much truth in that.
That was awesome.
Yes. AJ has a way with words.
Yeah.
And knowledge and information as well.
Oh yeah, just a huge history lesson and huge, about what's going on right now too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, Avacha. Well, you are up. If you have something for us, I would love to hear some.
I would love to, but since I just sat down, if somebody else could go before me, I'd really like it. And then I need to get my head together because that poem really got to me big time. So if somebody else could go before me, I'd be grateful.
Absolutely. So Avacha was actually last on the list. Do we want to go through another round?
Oh, Jeff. What about Jeff?
He just left.
Yeah. Okay.
If that's the case, I'll go. I just, what can I say? I'm not trying to be a diva. So let me get to the point that I wanted. And
you could be all the diva you want.
Exactly.
I know I don't want to be a diva. I just, oh my God, that poem got to me. Woo! Anyway.
Oh,
okay.
Jeff is back. Jeff, did you want to share something?
That'd be great.
I didn't have anything prepared that I was planning on doing. I was just listening while I'm doing some stuff around the house, but I could go grab something.
Yeah, if you don't mind, Avacha needed a minute. So if you want to grab something real quick, we can wait.
Yeah, just give me 1 second.
All right. Our little salt and pepper
We'll just
grandpa,
talk amongst
or
us.
salt and pepper Santa over there. What'd you say, Mike?
Say we'll talk amongst ourselves.
That's
Like butter.
I'm in heaven. The thought of doing something in Ngoma Hill, that sounds really awesome.
I couldn't think any more appropriate pairing.
Well, I also wanted to get him to feature in our series too, as well. So I don't have a contact for him. So if you could give me a phone number and a private message, I'd be grateful, and I'll contact you.
Sure, yes. Text me, that would be fine. And whatever links that you want me to put up on any of the for the event, I'll create a Facebook event. I'll put your bio, your cash handles, any links you want in there to promote your book, and then I'll get the poster made so we can share Instagram and Facebook.
Okay, so good. Let's see here. Okay, so we got on the 14th, you say, eh? That's perfect. What time does it start?
So the show starts at 8 p.m. Eastern, and we'll usually take about 5 minutes and play some music as folks start to pool in the room. We'll go to the open mic usually for about 3. We'll let 3 people come up and read the open mic. We'll bring up feature number 1. We'll go back to the open mic for a little bit, and then we'll bring up feature number 2, and then we'll finish up the open mic. Each feature has 20 minutes to read. I do not like ding or bell anyone, so if you go over, it'll be fine. Or if you don't feel like taking the whole time, that's okay too.
Or if you want to play a little music in there
You
too.
can, anything you want in that time, it's all yours.
I can't do it. I don't have the kind of microphone set up where I can play music.
Oh, well.
You have to have spend money, which I don't have. So 5 p.m. Pacific time.
Yes.
And what is it called? What's it called?
It's The Word Is Right's double feature.
The Word Is Right. Okay.
And it'll be featuring Baba, Ngoma Hill, and Avacha. And usually for the features, if they have a time restriction, I'll kind of cater to that. Or if not, I usually take whoever's in the room first gets to feature first. So
That's great.
I'm honored. Thank you. Thank you for thinking of me.
thanks, Avacha.
Okay, now it's Santa time.
Salt and pepper Santa.
I respect all folks, but I do not celebrate it. So, but whatever, whatever you celebrate, whether it's Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or Christmas, whatever, I celebrate people being together.
We're just calling Jeff that because he has the hat on.
Go on, Jeff.
All right, so I got one here. I'm gonna read. This is one of Generalissimo Brian Franco's poems. I'm gonna read, since he's not here to read it. I'm gonna read one for him from his book. I think everybody should go and get it. Go to the Red Green Books website and get yourself one of Brian's books. I'm gonna read The Secret to Surviving Sinkholes by Generalissimo Brian Franco. It seemed to happen so organically. I decided to stay in bed more than 5 minutes, then 10 minutes, then an hour, and so on and so forth. Tears happened for no discernible reason, out of the blue, without warning, without trigger. Without help, I would have stayed in bed. This sudden sadness didn't just happen, it manifested. It was waiting in the wings to throw me the worst kind of surprise party. No people, no presents, no cake, but plenty of candles to burn down my life, my self-esteem, my sense of worth. Without help, I would have accepted the storyline the bed told me, that it was the safest place for my existence. But a bed that talks is the voice of depression. Depression can seem like a cul-de-sac sinkhole that sucks in a car parked on the street, consumes a fire hydrant, takes a bite of sidewalk, then attacks a front yard, working its way up a walkway to the front door. It politely rings the doorbell before swallowing the door. A family of 4 and 2 dogs have to escape through the backyard, abandon everything they own, even cars, because the sinkhole expanded westward, engulfing the driveway. The inestimable speed of a sinkhole acts like depression when the word chemical is bandied about by a doctor. No words used by doctors are bad words. Some words are just crutches, something temporary till the person who listens to their bed instead of their head starts recognizing the existence of their heart, their skin, their soul. Their peripheral vision is hampered by a hoodie the bed gave them as a gift at the surprise party that surprisingly never ended. But now the owner of the bed has asked for help. I learned I can yell surprise at the bed, get up and walk away. Thank you. That was The Secret to Surviving Sinkholes by Generalissimo Brian Franco.
Thank you for bringing his spirit here when he's not.
Yeah,
That was a great
perfect.
reading.
That was perfect.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you, Brian, for writing that poem.
you. All righty, saving the best for last. You ready now, Avacha? All righty.
I am, thank you. Once again, you know, you guys have been awesome. And when I was going to get that coffee, I was hearing everything. So you guys, what can I say? And Marisa, what, you're in New Mexico, right?
Yes, in fact, we're doing a summit here in June. I'm hosting the New Mexico Poetry Summit the first weekend of June. If anyone wants to come down, maybe
Well,
people here up in Colorado.
Well, I you know, for a very short period of time, I stayed and worked in that paper that if you saw the movie, anyway, I stayed in Española. And it's beautiful up there in northern New Mexico, but the racism runs around in the nude. Thank God for all the beautiful natives that were there. They, because I was the only person my color that was there, and they took care of me very well. And I was very grateful for that. But anyway, let me do a couple of poems and from my book. One of my heroes is Rahsaan Roland Kirk, and a musician that everybody should know about, but a whole bunch of folks don't know about it. He was supposedly blind. He had been blinded as a baby by them putting too much mercury in his eyes. He also played several instruments at the same time. He was an ingenious person, and I had the honor, I worshiped him from the time I was a kid, and I had the honor of working with him. And he forced everybody that worked with him to use a quality that we all born with, but we become so intelligent that we outsmart ourselves and we don't use it, called facial radar, which is how you feel things like everybody's walked into a dark room and you know somebody's in there. If you can't see them or hear them, that's facial radar. Babies have it. We all have it, but we outgrow it because we've been taught that it's superstitious. He taught all of us to live like he did, just about, and use it. And so I loved him for a lot of reasons. He also taught me how to hear with my whole body, and I'm very grateful for that. So this is called Song for Brother Rahsaan. I loved him so much. I have a grandson by the name of Rahsaan, and my great-grandson's name is also Rahsaan, so he's with me every day. Blind man, me, don't tell me I can't see. Have you ever seen A minor? What is the shape of B? And tell me while we're at it, just how does the key of feeling, just back up, stop. About to start again. Blind man, me, don't tell me I can't see. Have you ever seen A minor? What is the shape of B? And tell me while we're at it, how does the key of breathing feel? Have you heard a store? Can you feel that far? Have you crawled inside a reed? And when you see the sunshine, can you tell me how it tastes? And do you know the sound of lies? Can you smell a two-legged snake? Don't tell me I can't see. Man, say, is you for real? Will eyeballs fill your stomach? Has seeing set you free? And when you cry alone at night, has your vision dried your tears? Can you play it out or say it out? The sight scare away your fears? Does it make you a man? If you really think it can, why can't you turn your eyes on me? Don't tell me I can't see you, fool. I feel the melody in a million colors yet to be discovered. Or can't you hear? Okay, and you know, I wasn't going to do this, not in this book that just came out, but in the book that's coming out in a few months. And I don't have a printout, so I have to read it off of the screen. So forgive me while I do this. But that poem that you did earlier from that book remind me of this whole incident. It's called When Karma Calls. And forgive me if I stumble, because I say I'm reading off a computer and I never do very well with that. There has never been a time when I wasn't told how lucky I was. Lucky to be born in the time and place I was born in, here, at home in the land of the free, here, in an egalitarian heaven, where inequality is running around in the nude. I want to know if I'm really living in the greatest of times and standing in the middle of heaven, why is the insatiable smell of evil so strong? And why am I still crying for and with all our relatives with no roofs over their heads? And in an upside down world ruled by gangster gurus who get rich by feeding the rich while robbing the poor and enjoying getting richer by the minute, off the disappearance of the medicinal gifts and beautiful people of the disappearing rainforests, while crooked politicians and sanctimonious pimps stand around profiteering and instigating the suicidal madness of the unending wars all over the world. Can you tell me why is my heart still breaking? Breaking for the country folks and the mountain folks who have nothing but their dreams. The folks in the field who grow our food but still don't make enough for their families to eat. And why are there tears running down the faces of indigenous people, the original people everywhere? I want to know why greed is such an insatiable drug, an unfortunately acceptable drug nourished on selective forgetfulness and the very profitable delusions of genetic superiority, a hereditary historical amnesia, resulting in an evil so blind it can't see itself on the same old self-destructive merry-go-round, once again forgetting to even take the time to try to make things right before evil inevitably turns around and eats itself. And believe me when I say, I know when karma calls, it's not going to be a pretty sight. Because what goes up always must come down. And I know deep in my bones and with every tear I cry, it's all just a matter of time before truth flips the switch and karma turns on the light. Let me get back to you. Anyway, is it time to do another short one for my book? Thank you.
Yeah, take your time.
Yeah, I need to come out of that for a minute. This is called Wind Dance. I'm the daughter of two dancers, and so I've written a lot about dance and what have you, but the wind particularly is special for me. When the wind dances, time stops and the trees sway with her. And every blade of grass bows down to her, and old papers spin and fly in the air in her, the hats. I say the hats jump right off the heads of bald-headed men and follow her as far as they can follow when the wind dances. Shh. Stand still. Take a peek as she turns the comfort of your world inside out and aggressively wrecks the peace of an otherwise quiet destiny, or let her pamper you, spoil you rotten, feel her dancing, wildly enticing, teasing, warning, laughing, gently swaying, or playing deliberately sassy, disturbing games in your hair, and enjoying the unexpected chaos of every second, the strength and the power of each and every second of making you face the predictability of the unknown. Shh. When the wind dances, be still. Feel her dancing boldly, sending chilly fingers right through your clothes, but don't tell anybody, don't tell anybody. I said, don't say a word, don't move. Shh. When the wind dances, even I sing for her to groove to, I move to, and fallen leaves run around in circles on the ground, and last winter's kites laugh again in the heavens, while a million skirts climb the very healthy thighs of a million rhythmic goddesses who can move like the wind does when the wind dances, if they stand real still just long enough to feel her as she passes, when the wind dances and dances and dances and dances. Shh. Thanks for listening to my words. I want to put my book and there's also a couple of other books I'm in. I'll put them in the chat with the CD that I'm on and our poetry series. The fourth Saturday of the month, you missed the good one, you know, but please come and check us out. Next month, we have 4 open mics and 4 features and only 10 open mics. So be there early if you want to be one of them. Otherwise, just listen to some great poetry. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Very beautiful. Could listen all day. All righty. So that is everyone. 7:02. Did you guys want to do another round, or is everyone good where they're at? You want to call it a night?
I can't speak for anybody else. I'm a poet. I'm ready to read poetry all night long and listen to poetry all night long.
I hear you.
I'm always willing to read some more of my rubbish and listen to all the good stuff.
I guess I could read, but I will have to leave pretty shortly.
Okay. Well, you would be up next if
Yeah.
we are doing another round. So
Yeah. Sure. So is that you saying go ahead or what?
yeah, go ahead. Let's do it.
Okay, I'm gonna read this one. I read one that I wrote for New Year's 2020. This is one I was just looking through. Or for I read that Christmas one about that bummed everybody out. And this one I was just looking at, and it just struck me that I don't know, just how we don't realize things that are coming sometimes, but it can still be good. This is like any other sunrise, New Year 2022. Rain turns white as winter flakes off into final hours. Fireworks sparks buzz through midnight window. Car-shaped snow below. The street awaits the day, unlike any other sunrise opening a year would do. Creeping over same horizon, prairie shoulders hunch towards metropolis at dawn. Still wrapped mystery arrives. What cannot remain departs. No hand shaken or insult taken. Footprints disappear and drifts. Subtle flicker of daylight shifts. And do one more that is another New Year poem called Let the Future Be Forgiveness. Let the future be forgiveness. Forgive yourself first. Pain held in over past transgressions, bad decisions, or unmet expectations. Weak battery cannot empower dynamo of interconnected souls. Forgive all that can be forgiven. Hold mirror of humility to hurt. Gaze deep to see source from which wrong thinking originates. Do not be another plank on bridge that heavy-heeled hatred trots across. Remember, it is not only in myth that demons can be tamed or turned. Use tenderness as bait to lead beasts safely into cages. Ensnare, but do not be ensnared by sour energy. Cultivate and share sweet fruit. Let all absorb frangible essence. Distilled nectar of sacred forgiveness, blessed with kiss. Let forgiveness be what it is. Ask and expect no more. Let the future be forgiveness. Oh, yes. Wishing for a wonderful new year for everyone here.
And same to you. Alrighty. Does it look like Jeff's kitchen's on fire, or am I bugging? Anyway, all right, Skyza, you are up next.
I'm passing. I'm having a moment with
Okay,
sleep.
no problem.
So
That's all right. Clive, you got something for us?
Yeah, sure. I'll do a couple if that's okay. First one, there's a couple of people here who will have heard this, but a few that haven't. So it's called wisdom. There are many old proverbs, old adages by which people try to live their lives. Some of them are very wise, of course, but in the end, we find our own way, develop our own ideas, even if they can be a bit weird. Me, I'm a bit of a sage, a modern day guru. And though ultimately you have to do you, I'm going to share my wisdom with anyone who will listen. If you don't want to know, I'm not that fussed, but believe me, I've got this life shit sussed. If it looks good and tastes good, it's probably going to make you fat and fuck your heart up. If you can keep your head when all around are losing theirs, you're probably too stupid to understand what's going on. A bird in the hand will probably shit on your fingers. The only certainties in life are death and taxes, and people telling you that the only certainties in life are death and taxes, when clearly they're talking bullshit. Because, well, sunrise, sunset, and Harry Styles ruining music. If you can't stand the heat, it's probably because the chip pan's on fire. The King Charles Spaniel is so cold because It has very big ears and is totally unsuitable to be head of state, just like the real thing. A great philosopher once said, "Fuck this shit, I'm going for a beer." In the British Isles, we have the island of Sark, which is like shark with the H missing. We have Wales, which is like Wales with the H missing. I live in Swindon, which is a bit of a sick tip. Avoid it at all costs. But most important of all, if at first you don't succeed, try something else. It'll save a lot of disappointment in the long run. So that's that one. And my other one, this was written for a prompt of drawing, and it's called Artist. Sometimes I like to draw. I'm not very good at it, of course. Whatever the object, the result's pretty abject. And if it survives the dustbin for the night, in the new day's light, even I can't tell what it is. I even make matchstick men look like they need to diet. L.S. Lowry with added pounds is actually my most famous work. It sold for $4 million at auction. I couldn't believe my luck, to be honest. It was bought by a man who couldn't be any thinner, who liked to pretend it was a mirror to improve his self-esteem. It didn't work, of course, but I didn't care. I'd become a millionaire. I did buy him a McDonald's every day for a month, though. That helped. He has to go to Weight Watchers now. I have never had anything else sell for a seven-figure sum, but I'm not complaining. Self-portrait of a millionaire artist sold for 40,000 to someone wanting to frighten off burglars, and there is a brisk trade in cheap prints. The crime rate has dropped by 60%, and I've been given an MBE by the King for services to policing. Then there was the racehorse that won by a neck, which sold for 90,000. It was meant to be a giraffe. I guess it's better to be lucky than talented. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Love
Another
it.
great set.
Thank you.
Clive, do you have a book out?
I've had 3, yeah. I mean, I do more performance than pagey stuff, really, but my last book was 2020.
Oh, okay.
I am at the moment doing a one-man show, which I'm intending to bring out a book based on that.
Okay, cool.
But that may be a few months down the line yet.
All right. Well, when it comes, make sure you hit us up so we know and we can get it. All right. Marissa, did you want to share it again?
I could totally do something if you want to do something random. You give me a number between 1 and 195.
32.
32. All right, let me scroll to 32 and I'll read you whatever's on that page.
Are you reading from the same book?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. And this is really good for me too because it helps me proofread too. This is D.G. Clearing's poem, Casey Goodson. Casey Goodson fell to his kitchen floor. 3 shots in the back, his keys in the door. Bang, bang, bang. A sub sandwich onto the floor. Casey Goodson fell to the kitchen floor. His little brother saw him murdered in the door. Blood from the murder went splat, splat, splat on the shiny linoleum floor. Casey Goodson fell to the kitchen floor. Grandma saw her grandson die like her family before. Help, 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 she said, as he died on her cleanly waxed floor. Casey Goodson fell to the kitchen floor, shot and splattered, just coming through the door. He didn't do anything. Now a young Black man dead on the floor. Casey Goodson fell to the kitchen floor. The cops shot an innocent man for having his keys in the door. Bang, bang, bang. Now he's dead on the shiny, waxed kitchen floor. poem.
Man, I'm definitely gonna have to get me a copy of that book when it's done.
Did you see I put two? You have two in here, Shocky.
Yeah, you know. Alrighty. Jeff, were you doing another one or no?
Yeah, I got another poem here that I'm gonna do.
Okay.
My poem. This one is by Sasha Erhardt. It's called Essay on the Form. And you can find it in Ethelzine Volume 8. I also have a poem in there, and so does Robert Fleming, who we all know. Yeah, this one is called Essay on the Form. It is not dirty to write about the act of poetry. Anything in the world is a thing in the world. My dad's poet friend says that people do poetry all the time and don't even know it. The ocean vomits whales, and the whales are full of words. The men with the dynamite come, and the words are chunked, stinking across the page. People realize they are doing poetry all the time, and upon doing so, they grab a chunk of whale and swallow it whole. There are words in their guts now roiling, cramping, demanding dynamite. The notion of art is sick of itself, drinks cheap liquor in seaside bars. When you sit down next to it, it slurs, that fucking poet, slick in whale grease and gunpowder, full of words for me. Writers, all whale food, all whale eaters, all dynamiters. If your voice is like the bowels of the whale eater, and your meter like the wave that throws the whale into the world, the poem is still the words and the whale demanding to be seen for being someplace they shouldn't. It is not dirty to be in a whale's belly. If you light dynamite, you will see the words inside by the light of the fuse. People are swallowed all the time and don't even know it. Thanks. That was by Sasha Earhart.
Good. I like that. That was a nice piece. Thanks for reading it. That's what it was. It was lights. It was Christmas lights. All right.
Oh yeah, the flashing, yeah.
Yeah, no, I thought your kitchen was on fire.
The first time my wife came home after I had hung them up, I think she had a similar thought because she came in like, oh, what's going on? And then like, oh, lights.
All right. So I'm going to read a piece and then I'm going to let Avacha close this out. I didn't title this yet. I just called it dumb. All right. I called you 3 times just to tell you I love you. My phone rang like church bells in an atheist's ear. I have found God at the bottom of a bottle too many times to go searching again, even if he was made of porcelain. I have been regurgitating all of the pain I've swallowed over the years. I am afraid my poems may come off sharp like razor blades. Keep them away from your wrists. I wish they were softer. You could hold me close to your heart, somewhere on the elbow. I'm sorry. I just assume you keep your heart on your sleeve like I do. I've never been good with anatomy. I just know that something has been missing for a while, but this is as real as unicorns and shooting stars. The universe put me here in close proximity to you, and now there is nothing but space. Black holes are so dense that even light cannot escape, I guess. This is why I feel trapped. Release me into the night sky so I can blanket the ground like morning dew, begin the day again. Good morning. Did I mention I tried to call you?
Damn it, Shocky. Let's go.
Ooh. Thank you for listening. All right, we're gonna have Avacha close us out, please.
I'm honored. You guys have been awesome. This version, if it's okay to do 2, if not, I'll just do 1. Let me know. This is called The We of Us, and it's coming out in, not the book that just came out, but in another book that's coming out in a few months. The We of
You can do
Us.
two.
I beg your pardon?
I said you can do two. That's fine.
When I write, I dress yesterday's visions in today's rhythms, and I tap dance all over the page with every poem. And with every single word I write, I am reliving everything these culturalist cultures have tried their best to bury and replace with the sadness of their emptiness. And I continue to sing, keeping the ancestors alive by singing their songs, expanding tradition with new words in strange lands. I am the recognition of all the traditions the soulless have tried to erase, but with a giant thank you in our hearts, we joyfully climb out of the acceptable respectability of their passionless graveyards and are reborn in every poem we write. We sing to you through the rhythmic fire of samba. Every rumba reinstates your presence in our DNA. We cry the unashamed truth in the bluest of blues, exploding like La Bomba in the face of colonial insanity, and boldly fight the power with doo-wop, hip-hop, and jazz. I refuse to silently accept the unacceptable suicidal demise of our existence when every single day I can taste the we of us striving. We are more than just surviving. We are cultural alchemists, an undeniable force of creativity and motion, and through our creativity, we decolonize our legacy and free our minds and spirits. We are a whole lot more than you and me. It's all about the you in me, the me and you, the we of us, writing our way out of delusion. Out of the delusion of manifest destiny, self-righteous madness, and reinvigorating the dreams our ancestors died for. And this last one is in my book that just came out, with Every Step I Take 2. It's called Daughters of the Drum, and it's dedicated to, there's a big International Women's Drum Festival that happens every year, way up in the mountains of Oakland, in a place that you wouldn't even believe is in California. I mean, it's like, it looks like another planet, and it's absolutely awesome. I do a workshop there called When Ancestors Speak Through Rhythm. So this is called Daughters of the Drum, dedicated to all the women who come from all over the world for this festival. We were born to drum. Somos hijas rítmicas. We were conceived in rhythm, whether we knew it or not or wanted it or not. It was and has always been about upholding la clave en el alma, the beauty and the sanctity of the rhythm that created us, the rhythm that is us. Somos el latido de la naturaleza, the rhythm of our mother's labor pains announced our coming. And it's always the rhythm of our breathing that lets the world know we're alive. Míralo, bellas, fuerza mística, pero picosas, feel it. Feel it, feel it. We walk and sing, pray, dance, and cry in it. Every single word that flows out of our mouths is a rhythmic declaration of our presence. Somos la esencia de la bomba, and even our sacred mother nature dances rhythmically through the seasons every single year. Keeping the rhythm of our lives in balance, our universe is an inescapable symphony. Ritmos sagrados held together by vibration, by the sound of the sum of us, the always right on time magical, rhythmical timelessness of us. Somos la fiebre apasionada de la rumba, the heart of bebop, and kubop was born in us. Is creation's gift to us. Somos el corazón del tambor, born in the womb of creativity, an undeniable rhythm personified. Wake up, bro. Mira, no, listen. Listen, we are your children, and we were born to drum. With Every Step I Take 2, I'll put it in the chat. Please get yourself a copy. And with that, thanks for listening to my words.
Thank you for sharing them with us. And thank you to everyone who showed up today. Again, thoughts and vibes going out to Uncle G. Hope he's doing well. I hope you guys all have a great night. And if you celebrate, have a great holiday season. Be safe. And I hope to see you guys at the next Cafe Generalissimo.
Thanks, Shockey. We love you.
We love you. Bye.
Stay safe.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for letting me listen tonight.
Thanks for coming.